So Carolyn, I'm sure you've had many mentors throughout your career. Tell us a little bit about your mentoring relationships and what you've really learnt from them.
I think the thing for me is that there hasn't been one person for the last 21 years who's had the answer to everything. And, it really is finding the person at that time that can help you. So things like when I needed to understand more about finance, getting someone to teach me how to reconcile a bank statement, or later on talking to someone about advertising was the best way to help increase your brand recognition. So I've had lots of amazing people over the 21 years, so I can't sort of just say it was one person.
Yeah. And is there any one tip you would give, to pass on to someone based on those mentoring experiences?
Well, I think the best tip that I look back on was someone who once told me I couldn't afford to buy a delivery of nuts, and so I was going to give them a check and get them to hold the check, and I wasn't going to sign it, and then I thought I'll have to come back the next day and I can buy myself an extra day. And this friend said, you're far better to be honest with people and it'll come back and reward you. So I put a post-it note saying, would you be able to bank this check tomorrow? They didn't mind. They banked it the next day and it was absolutely fine. And so I think being honest has taught me, and I think people respect it more when you get further in business than if you're sort of, a little deceitful.
Yeah, great tip. And in terms of, work-life balance, how do you have a life outside of work?
So for me, I think that, work, you just do the best you can in the hours that are there, and you're just really conscious of your time. And, I fit a lot of things into a day when I'm here, and, I really try and make sure that my time is spent as effectively as it can be, and that what I'm doing is really important for the big picture of the whole year, not just, urgent for that day.
Yeah.
And, I think that's, work-life balance is really it is all about life, and it is all about making sure you find that balance. So just fitting the things. If you think that, the Prime Minister can exercise, at the moment, can be as fit as they are or whatever, everyone can find the time. It's just prioritising accordingly.
Yeah, great. And so what are the most important things you've learnt about running a successful business?
Look, I think at the end of the day, we're all in the people business, and you just can't lose sight of that. So whether it's the people that work at Carmen's, the people that buy our products, we wouldn't be here if people didn't like what we were doing. And I always say to everyone, they're the ones that pay the wages here, so you've got to think back to what they're wanting us to do for them. And so just kind of breaking it down to that, I think is the essence of
and
it.
Making sure you choose the right people in your business as well. And so what are some challenges? I remember when I met you, actually the first time I met you was at you spoke at a networking function, and you really inspired me about how your story about running your own business. I remember you were talking about some challenges that you faced, where your products were about to get pulled off the shelves, but you just kept on going. So tell us about some of those challenges and how you overcame them.
Yeah, I've had a heap of challenges, and I think it's easy for people to look at me and say, oh gosh, she's had this really easy run. We had everything deleted from one of the supermarkets at one point. There's been huge different dramas along the way, and I look back and I think people think success looks like this, and it's much more of a squiggly line. But it's kind of being focused and saying it is what it is. I can't change that situation. What's the best I can do with my resources in the current situation I'm in, and then just keep trying to put one step in front of the other.
And I guess not worrying about things that you can't control, but looking at the situation and how you can get the best out of it.
I have a saying, don't worry about something until it's something to worry about. Sometimes we get ourselves into a flap about something, and it isn't, you just need to pull yourself back and say, all right, do you know what? If that goes wrong, we'll deal with it, but at the moment I'm just going to not, waste my emotional energy on it.
And, you obviously have a really positive mindset. Do you sort of, whenever I come into the Carmen's office, there's such an amazing vibe here, and the staff are always so friendly and happy. Do you, really promote, that sense of glass half full, and, obviously there's a great culture here. So tell me about how you've evolved that over time.
Look, to me, I think that you spend almost more time at work than you do at home with your family. So you need it to be a positive, in an enriching space that you can do great work, and we all want to make a difference in our lives and for our jobs to mean something. So, coming in with a positive attitude, having a laugh, one of our kind of core values here is to have a little bit of fun at work, and being on the same page. And there's a lot of mutual respect for lots of people in different roles here, and I think that's something that makes people feel really happy about being in the Carolyn space.
And empowered, you know, that they're doing something great and they're successful in what they do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so, you know, progressing from that, in terms of, you know, characteristics or personal attributes for a successful business leader, what would you say those are?
I think being a good listener.
Yeah.
I think listening sometimes more than you talk, and actually then, you know, being able to act on what you're hearing.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, asking the right questions, seeking your own truth, getting the information that you think is right, and then being tough about saying, do you know what, I have to do something about that, or I've got to react. You know, the worst thing sometimes you can do is not make a decision, and you need to make decisions to move forward.
I really like that saying that says we were born with 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we need to listen twice as much as we speak.
Oh, that's
and I
great.
think, it's a good one to remember. So tell me what your number one tip would be for someone, you know, the people out there watching today, if they're looking to start their own business. What would your number one tip be?
I think that you can't expect to finish work on a Friday and start your business on a Monday unless you've saved up quite a bit of money, because generally speaking, the business can't afford to pay you a salary for a little while. And the most terrible thing I've ever been through is being totally broke and, you know, really struggling to be able to afford to pay my bills.
Yeah.
And so I think keeping a second job, working at night, whatever, so that you can actually do your business without it causing you financial difficulty is a way. So get out there, try it, sell stuff at a farmer's market, do something on the weekend, get it going, but don't think you can pull a salary out of it from day one.
Yeah.